Hey friends, it's me, Laura Burns. Welcome back to my channel, Jazz Hands for You. And I'm excited. Today, I'm super excited to launch the first of a series of videos where I'm going to chronicle, along with you, my journey through Nia and becoming a Nia teacher. And you're probably like, what is Nia? So I'm super excited. I really want this first video just to be about me talking about my experience with Nia in the past, my experience with Nia now, and what I'm looking forward to. A little bit about how the training is going. I've got video clips of me doing the practice, of taking the trainings. I've got reflections after I do the practices. And it's really just kind of like a let's get into it kind of video. And so moving forward in the future, I'm going to talk more about Nia philosophy and all those things. But this time it's kind of just like an overview, like let's get into it. So without any more rambling, let's get into it. Okay, so what is Nia and why do I like it and why am I doing this whole thing? Nia is a form of movement that was created in, I think, 1983 by Debbie and Carlos Rosas, the founders of Nia. I'm super excited because the training that I'm taking is led by the founder, Debbie herself. So that's like very exciting. And like I said, we'll get into more of the nitty gritty of what Nia is, but in a nutshell, okay. So first of all, I always used to try to explain Nia as hippie aerobics because it can be kind of a hard movement form to understand if you haven't seen it. I think once you see it, you're like, oh, I get what this is. But when you try to explain it, it's like, it's not aerobics, it's not yoga, it's not martial arts, it's not dance. It is all of those things, which sounds kind of wacky, but this mix of martial arts, healing arts, and dance. Oh my gosh, so many things all in one. So in one class, in one routine that you do, you could do some Tai Chi flowing, you could do some Taekwondo, like energetic, ha, ha. You could do some modern dance, making shapes with the body, shifting around. You can play with yoga. Like it's so interesting. It's never the same ever, which is so fun and keeps it very fresh. But so my introduction to Nia was in the early 2000s, and I was not in a great place. And Nia was one of the things that kind of brought me back to myself, but also it's hard to say back to myself because it brought me into my body, into my existence in a way that I don't think that I had been before. And so I do credit Nia along with yoga and body liberation / fat liberation as what like really changed my life. And that sounds a little nuts to some people, but it's really true for me. So I found Nia through a friend. Shout out to my punk rock hoops sisters, Rowan and Blythe, who introduced me to Nia. And I just fell in love with it. My body fell in love with it. And it really just came into my life when I needed something to help me be embodied, to move without judgment, to find ways to express myself that were healthier than other choices that I was making. So I have such a fondness for Nia. And I really loved it. I used to volunteer as a desk guide at the Nia studio here in Houston so that I could take class for free. And to make sure that I was accountable, and I would actually like get up in the morning and like show up to class because I'm not a morning person. But once I was there, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm here. It feels so good to move in community with other people who are not worried about how they look or if they're fat or if they're old or if they're injured. We're just like enjoying the pure pleasure of moving in our bodies in whatever way is working for us in that moment. And that's one reason that I'm very excited to be back to Nia now because my body has changed. I move differently. I'm a yoga teacher now, which is wild, and have been for almost a decade, which is even more wild. And I'm 40. My body is different. And I really was missing that piece of the dance, the embodiment, and the combination of all those things that I just said, the martial arts, the healing arts, and the dance, just to kind of bring it home again. So I'm super excited. Oh my gosh, can you tell? I'm super excited to be like embarking on this journey to become a NIA teacher, to be able to now bring the joy that I have found and the healing and the like transformative power and community of NIA to you, to my community, whether you are, from my yoga side, or you're from my body liberation side, or you're from my self-care and personal growth side, whichever like part of the Venn diagram that you are from. I'm excited to bring this to you, to future classes and retreats moving forward. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit more about when I started NIA. And I have to like, spoiler alert, it's not completely positive. But I want to be 100% transparent with y'all. As always, I like to keep it real. And then we will rise from those ashes, because what is happening now is very exciting. Okay, real talk. When I tried NIA in the beginning, it was wonderful. It was great. I loved it, right? Everything that I just said. And there were issues with it that didn't feel great and ultimately led to me not doing it anymore. And I don't want to gloss over that, because I do think that that is an important part of my story and NIA's story, especially considering where they are now and where they're trying to go. So, as I said, I used to take like a crap ton of NIA classes every week. I was so into it. I was like hooked on NIA. It felt so good in my body, whether I was like, well, I'm here, and like maybe I'm just going to lay on the floor for part of this, or I was like, let's go, like whatever, energy level or capacity I had, like I was able to meet myself there and have a really amazing time. And I always felt better after class. And I talked to some of my friends who had gone through the teacher training, which they have like a belt system like karate, so white belt and so on, all the way up to black belt. And they were the people that I loved the most to take classes from, because they had bodies that looked more like mine, and they taught in a way that like worked better for me, which from then still informs how I teach my classes now. So like, oh my God, I could never send out enough gratitude to the Punk Rock Hoops family, because that was really the start of NIA for me, and ultimately probably why I ended up with yoga as well. So, oh my God, so much love. If you ever see this, I love you so much. Yeah, so I took those classes and I enjoyed classes from other people as well. Although I have to say, the other instructors were all very thin and definitely on the more athletic side. The cool thing is that I could take their class and like do what was right for me. So they have like levels. So it's like, oh, if you're like feeling more level 1, do like this. If you're feeling more level 2, you could do this. Level 3, you really want to go for it, go for it. And you can always mix and match. You don't have to stay at a level 1 if you want to do this or whatever. So I've always appreciated that. And there's something about taking class from people who look like you and who teach in a way that does feel like the options are not just baked in like they are, which is great, but are just so encouraging to always, always, always listen to your body, and that you don't have to go hard. You don't have to break a sweat if you don't want to, or if it's not feeling good or it's not working for your body. And ultimately, I stopped doing NIA because, and this is like hard to talk about because it was not pleasant. And I love NIA so much and I have such gratitude for it. And so I don't want to make it sound like it's terrible or anything. But within any community, there are going to be people whose values and thoughts and behaviors don't align with yours. And ultimately, I chose to not continue taking classes or to pursue the white belt training like I wanted to, because I was told in pretty exact words that they didn't think that I could handle it. They didn't think that I was up for it. And coming from a pretty like fat phobic and weight stigma biased place. And I'm not going to get into details, and I'm not going to like name names or anything, but it was bad. It felt really, really bad. And it really, and I'm not the only one that this happened to out of my like circle. So it really turned me off. It felt so shitty, honestly. Already living in a body, and I was like thinner then, but like living in a body that the world already pathologizes and assumes that you can't or don't want to challenge yourself or do hard things, or that would want you to be pushing yourself to the point of hurting yourself all the time in order to not be how you are. Um, so ultimately, it didn't feel safe for me anymore, which is a big, big bummer because it brought so much to my life. And I can never forget how it did help to change my life. Like Nia was like a key part of me wanting to live, wanting to exist in this world, wanting to be able to turn 40 and 41 and 42 and like to keep going, right? It was so important. And I'm not overselling it. It was so important. And at the same time, it can be so important. And it can also be really painful and harmful when something like that happens. So I kind of hold these things in my body, in my mind. And I didn't do Nia for a really long time. I think the last time I did Nia was like probably 2007, maybe 2008, maybe 2009, probably not. And I didn't pick Nia up until 2022. And that's a really long time to not do something. Oh my gosh. If you know me, if you've seen my videos before, like, you know, I'm a crybaby. So if I cry, I cry. I'm very emotional. And I feel like I just forgot that Nia existed, or I forgot that I used to love it. I forgot that my body craved it. And last year, I got reached out to on Instagram from Nia asking if I wanted to do just like a little partnership collab. I tried to say both those words at the same time. Collaboration or something. Just like a little one. And I was like, oh, Nia, oh my gosh, like I forgot that I love you. I forgot about you, or I kind of like tried to forget about you, I think. And so we did just like a little one, and my body was like, bing, there it is. There it is. Did you forget about me? Here it is. So just our little collaboration that we did, it was great. And I fell in love with Nia. And yeah, so here I am, and we're launching into kind of a bigger project together, which is why I'm making this video series. And I'm so excited to share with you about this project and about the direction that Nia is taking for the future. Okay, so like me, Nia is turning 40. Well, I already turned 40. I think Nia started in 83, so this year would be the 40th year, if I'm correct. And they are looking at where they've been, where they are, and where they want to go. And one thing that I so appreciate, which is like probably the only reason that I would feel comfortable taking on these projects with them, is that they want to make sure that they are doing their absolute best to make people like me, people of color, people who are fat, people who are disabled, people who are older, who have injuries, whatever, people of different ages, abilities, mobilities. They want to make sure that people can find the power and the joy and the healing properties of Nia. And I know that that's true because it happened for me, right? It is absolutely true. Nia, as it was created in the 80s, it already is that amazing, wonderful resource for all the things that I have said. And people don't know, people don't realize, and it hasn't been put out there in a way that is kind of been like, hey, this could be for you. Hey, this could be for you, you know? And so what I think Nia has ended up with, and these are all my words. This is not Nia telling me what to say. They probably would have a more articulate way of saying all these things, but y'all know it's the Laura Burns method. I just start talking. I don't have any notes. I don't have any agenda. But that's why you like me, right? So what you end up with, and what has, I think, happened a lot with Nia, is that you end up with the representation of Nia looking kind of all like the same kind of person. And this happens with yoga, oh my God, with Pilates, like with everything, right? This is what happens, right? Because these are the bodies that get upheld by the movement forms themselves, but also by the media, right? If somebody's going to write about Nia, they're going to pull a picture that looks like, like a fitness body or a like whatever. It happens with yoga constantly, and I talk about this all the time. Representation matters, and because we haven't seen bodies like us or people who look like us in different ways, it's not just about size. You just assume it's not for you. Also, Nia's pretty niche. As amazing as it is, it's never kind of blown up in the way that like Pilates or yoga or Zumba has. And so it's not like a household name, but it really should be because it's amazing. And literally anyone can do it, which is so cool. And oh my gosh, I'll talk about more. But you can tell that I'm very excited about this and I have so much to say. So they recognize that it's 2023 and we need to do a better job with representation, and we need to get this incredibly powerful and important and potentially transformative and healing movement practice, this combination of all these movement forms. We need to get this out to more people so that they know that it is for them. And so that's why they originally contacted me, not knowing about my history with Nia. There's no way they knew. And I asked and they didn't know. And so I feel like the universe, like this is kind of woo-woo, but I just feel like the universe, whoever was going through Instagram and looking for people to like possibly partner with, like the universe in Instagram guided their hand and let them find me, because I do have this passion for Nia that has been dormant for so long because of the negative experiences that I had. But I said yes to that little project that we did together, and I, like I said, fell in love again with Nia and the way that it felt in my body and how free I feel when I'm doing it and how it helps me to work on the things that I'm already trying to work on, like personal growth wise. And so because it went so well and I loved it, they offered to do a bigger project with me. And so that's this video series. That's me taking this training, becoming a Nia teacher, and sharing it with you. And so part of my job with them is not just to chronicle my journey. So I'm doing some stories on Instagram, but these videos I'm going to do once a month, and kind of showing you more, spending more time. You can tell this is a long ass video. And part of the agreement is that I am letting them know when things happen or language is used or whatever that could be improved. So part of my job is to, I don't have a red flag. Part of my job is to wave a red flag or a yellow flag and say, hey, this kind of felt like this to me. Here's how it could have been better. And for them to be able to take that information and tweak the training or tweak the videos or whatever, and be able to make it feel more inclusive, more welcoming, more accessible for everyone, because it actually already is. It's really just a matter of making sure that people can find it and access it and feel and see that it really is for them. So what does all this mean? Well, it means that I am attending the live classes on Zoom with Debbie. I'm attending weekly 2-hour trainings on Fridays. There's office hours on Thursdays. It's a lot. And I am learning so much. It's amazing. Really digging into the depth of the Nia philosophy and what it's all about is so amazing. It is so rich and full of things that I think are really beneficial for us both, in our bodies and in our lives. And so the rest of this video, I'm just going to show you some clips that I've been taking throughout this process so far. And we're going to start with the very first live Zoom Nia class that I took with Debbie. Okay, I'm getting ready to take my first live Nia class with Debbie Rosas, who is the founder of Nia. So feeling very excited, and we'll report back. Okay, I'm hot and sweaty. So just wanted to give you my reactions. That was my first live class with Debbie. It may actually be the first class I've ever done. Like, I've never done her recording. It was really good. It was really fun. It was music that I remember from when I did Nia like a long time ago. So that was really fun to like remember these songs that I've danced to before and then forgot that they existed. It was interesting being in my body as I like picked up steps that I haven't done in so long. And what was really cool is that I found myself like being really kind if I was like doing the wrong thing or going the wrong direction, or I like sometimes I would get like super into what we were doing and then she's moved on and I'm still doing it because it was just feeling really good. So, um, in some classes I might like feel like dumb or, like beat myself up, but I didn't because Nia's not about that. And yeah, it was really cool to be live in a Zoom, but to see other people. They're very small at the top of my screen, but to see other people dancing and know that in this moment, like we're all doing it at the same time, and that's really cool. Um, so yeah, that's my immediate reaction to taking Debbie's class, and yeah, I don't know. I feel really good. I feel very in my body. I feel very like energized, but also calmer, if that makes sense. So yeah, A plus plus. Would do again, and it gave me tons of ideas for like how I could teach that or how I could incorporate these things into my yoga classes or just my daily life, my movement practice. So feeling very inspired and ready for a big glass of water. That may have given you a little insight into the practice, but still I know that the question is like, Laura, what is this? What are you talking about here? And so I'm going to show you some clips here that I have taken during my training. So these are not pulled from Nia practices that I have followed like as the student. Here I am in student mode, but I am moving freely or free dancing, depending on the instructions that I'm being given during our training. So our trainings are luckily not just seated and taking notes and staring at a screen, but are experiential in the body. And so here I'm being talked through different kinds of movement. Today or this day during the training, we were talking about the different kinds of movement that Nia is founded on, like the martial arts, the healing arts, and the dance. And so each of these clips shows me experiencing in my body, however it is coming out, and it's going to look different for everyone, what these types of movement felt like and looked like, I guess, in my body on this day. So if you look at these, you can tell that they all have very different characteristics. This one is super upbeat. This is like jazz movement right here. Very different from the other ones that you just saw where I was moving in a Tai Chi manner, like kind of like flowing through water. I was moving in spirals like Aikido. Here, this is a clip of me interpreting through my body the instructions we're being given and thinking about modern dance, thinking about making shapes, about feeling in the body emotions and energy and expressing that in our own ways. So all of us were doing this together and all of us doing very different things here, which is so beautiful and such a wonderful thing to be able to do together, to know that we are all interpreting and feeling differently, but holding that space together in community. Here, another kind of movement. See how different this looks, and it definitely felt in the body as well. That was Duncan dance. And here's just a absolutely sped up clip of me from another day, another training, free dancing, moving to music and being given instructions and interpreting that in my own body again. So you can see in all these clips of me free dancing, there are common elements, right? Because I bring my own style of movement and dance to it. But somebody else, given the same exact instructions, might be moving and feeling totally different than me. It is so interesting and incredible to be in this space. And I cannot even tell y'all how much I am enjoying it. It is so amazing. And I feel super grateful for this whole process. And if you are like, Laura, okay, but what does a Nia class look like? Here you go for your viewing pleasure and curiosity. This is a very, very, very sped up recording of me doing that live class with Debbie Rosas that I reacted to earlier in this video. And I did wait to include this until we got to the end because I know that not everybody is going to want to watch this. This is basically an hour class, really, really sped up to be about 7 minutes. So you can see how much faster that makes it. But I think that seeing this will help you get an idea of what a Nia class can look like. Now here, I'm not using a chair. I'm not really taking a lot of different options here. I did meet my body where it was. Sometimes I took more of that level 1, sometimes level 2, sometimes level 3. And also it's very sped up, so it's hard to tell. But I want to just start letting you get an idea of what a class can look like. You can see that sometimes my movements are bigger, sometimes there's a little more energy in my body, sometimes it's a little more chill, right? We go through a whole journey on this hour-long class, and you don't get the pleasure of the fun music and her instruction here, but hopefully this gives you a good idea or a better idea of what a class can look like. So feel free to keep watching. I included the sped up recording of the entire class, but if you're over it, you're ready to watch something else or move on with your day, I totally understand. I would absolutely love to hear what you're thinking about Nia so far. Any questions you have? Have you ever done Nia? I would love to hear about it. What were your experiences? Good or bad. Like, we want to hear it all. They want to hear so that they can do better in the future, because they care so much about making this really amazing practice accessible for everyone. And I cannot, I don't know, I feel like I'm a broken record, but I just can't express like how grateful I am to be doing this process with them, and that they want to hear what I have to say. They want to hear what we have to say, and they want us to know that Nia is absolutely for us. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to have you on the next one. Bye, y'all.